I want to show you something before I get into anything else. Those are beet seeds. I pulled them out of a packet I found at the back of my cabinet, dated 2 springs ago. I honestly wasn't sure they'd do anything. I soaked them overnight in something I picked up at the pharmacy for less than $3, and this is what I found this morning. Most of them sprouted. The few that didn't, I'm honestly not surprised, they were pretty old. But the ones that did come up, those would have sat in the dirt for 2 weeks and maybe never shown a root at all. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did and why it works. I'm glad you're here at Amish Homestead Roots. This channel is about bringing back the simple, practical methods that used to be common knowledge before everything got complicated. Subscribe if you want to keep getting this kind of thing because we post it every week. All right, let's get into it. Most of us have been there. You go out to the shed or the kitchen drawer where you keep your seeds and you find packets from last year. Maybe the year before. You think, are these still any good? Should I even bother? So you plant them anyway. You water them, you wait. And then not much happens. Maybe a third of them come up. Maybe half. You end up with patchy, uneven rows that never quite fill in the way you pictured them. You blame the weather. You blame the soil. You wonder if you watered too much or too little. But 9 times out of 10, the problem isn't any of those things. The problem is the seed itself. Not because it's dead, but because it's sleeping so deeply it can't find its way out. Seeds are remarkable little things. Inside every one of them is a complete plant, just waiting. But as seeds age, a few things happen. The outer coat gets harder and less permeable. Moisture has a harder time getting in. Oxygen has a harder time reaching the embryo inside. And on top of that, old seeds can develop a thin layer of mold or natural fungal buildup on the surface that acts almost like a chemical lock, telling the seed, not yet. Commercial seeds make this worse than most people realize. By the time a packet reaches the shelf at your local garden center, those seeds might already be a year or 2 old. They were harvested, processed, packaged, shipped to a warehouse, then to a distributor, then to the store, and that's before they sit on a shelf waiting for you to pick them up. The germination rate printed on the packet was measured when the seeds were fresh. Nobody updates it, so you're already starting behind before you've turned a single shovelful of dirt. Now, the Amish farmers who worked this land for generations understood something that we've mostly forgotten. They saved their own seeds every year. They knew which ones were old, and they had methods, simple, natural methods, to wake those seeds back up before planting. One of those methods involved soaking seeds in water that had been enriched with wood ash from the fire. Wood ash water has a high pH and is naturally rich in potassium, and it creates a mild reaction that softens the seed coat and gives the embryo a little burst of oxygen to start working. They didn't call it chemistry, they just called it what worked. The brown bottle sitting on this table is the modern version of that same principle, and it costs less than a cup of coffee. This is 3% hydrogen peroxide. You've seen it your whole life. It's the stuff your mother dabbed on a scraped knee. It bubbles when it contacts something, and that fizzing is oxygen being released. That's exactly what it does. Hydrogen peroxide breaks down into water, and an extra oxygen molecule that gets released in the process. Here's what's actually happening when you use it on seeds, and I promise this isn't going to get complicated. Hydrogen peroxide is basically water with 1 extra oxygen atom attached. When it contacts the seed, it breaks apart and releases that oxygen. And to a seed that's been sitting dry in a packet for 2 years, that burst of oxygen is like throwing open a window in a room that's been shut up all winter. The seed coat softens, the surface gets cleaned of any mold or fungal buildup, and the embryo inside gets the signal it's been waiting for. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. If this is this straightforward, why isn't everybody talking about it? Honestly, they are, just not loudly. It's in old horticultural guides, agricultural extension publications from land-grant universities, even buried in some seed company help pages if you go looking. It just never became the kind of thing gardening culture passed around at the kitchen table. We're fixing that today, and I want to be upfront with you. This isn't going to work on every single seed. Seeds that are genuinely dead, where the embryo has completely broken down, can't be revived by anything. But the majority of seeds that seem dead are just dormant and struggling to wake up. Those are exactly the ones this reaches. Now here's the part that actually makes this work, and I want to walk through it slowly so you can follow along whether you're watching at the kitchen table or out in the garden shed. You don't need anything special. Everything I'm about to describe you either already have at home or can get for under $5 total. Here's what you need. 1 bottle of 3% hydrogen peroxide. The regular brown bottle from the pharmacy or dollar store. Do not buy a higher concentration version. The 3% is exactly right. Anything stronger can damage the embryo inside the seed, and that's the opposite of what we want. You need room temperature water. Not cold, not warm, just whatever comes out of the tap after you let it run for a moment. Cold water slows the process down, and hot water can harm the seeds. A small glass jar or bowl. Glass works better than plastic because it doesn't hold residue. Plain white paper towels, unscented. And your seeds, whatever you have, old packets, seeds you saved yourself, seeds a neighbor passed along. That's it. Step 1. Make your soak solution. Mix 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 3 parts water. So if you pour in a 1/4 cup of hydrogen peroxide, add 3/4 cup of water. That gives you a mild, safe solution that's still active enough to do everything we talked about. Stir it gently and pour it into your glass jar. Step 2. Add your seeds. Drop them into the solution and give the jar a gentle swirl so every seed is coated. Now here's the part where most people either don't know to slow down or rush past it, and it actually matters a lot. Different seeds need different soak times, and leaving small, thin-coated seeds in the solution too long can over-soften them, which weakens the seedling that comes out. For hard-coated seeds, beets, Swiss chard, squash, melons, morning glory, nasturtium, soak for 8 to 12 hours. These are the stubborn ones with the thick outer shells, and they benefit most from a long soak. For medium seeds, tomatoes, peppers, beans, peas, cucumbers, soak for 4 to 6 hours. These germinate fairly readily when fresh, but the treatment dramatically improves results with older seeds. For small or thin-coated seeds, lettuce, basil, dill, cilantro, carrots, most herbs, soak for just 1 to 2 hours. Their coats are already thin. They just need the surface cleaned and a small oxygen boost. Set a timer. Don't just leave them and forget. Step 3. The rinse. When your soak time is up, pour the seeds gently through a fine strainer and rinse them under cool running water for about 30 seconds. You want to wash off any remaining hydrogen peroxide so it doesn't keep working on the seed coat. Here's an optional step I personally use, and it comes straight from the old Amish practice I mentioned earlier. After rinsing, I dip the seeds briefly in water with a small pinch of wood ash stirred into it. Just plain cooled ash from a fireplace or fire pit. The potassium creates a mildly alkaline rinse that gives one final signal to the seed's germination enzymes. You don't have to do this. The hydrogen peroxide soak alone works well, but if you have wood ash on hand, it takes 30 extra seconds, and it's worth it. Step 4. This next step is where the real change happens, and it's genuinely one of the simplest things you'll do in your garden all year. Lay a paper towel flat. Place your rinsed seeds in a single layer across one half. Spread out with a little space between them, not piled up. Fold the other half of the towel over the top. Dampen the whole thing with a few sprays of plain water, moist but not dripping. Fold it loosely, place it in a plastic bag or shallow container with a loose lid, and set it somewhere warm. The top of your refrigerator is perfect. It runs slightly warm from the compressor. Near your water heater works too. You're looking for around 70 to 75 degrees, nothing fancy. Step 5. Check in the morning. In 12 to 24 hours, unfold the paper towel carefully. For most seeds, you will see a small white root tip pushing out. That's called the radicle, and it's the first sign the seed has woken up. Seeds showing a root tip of about 1/8 to 1/4 inch are ready to plant right away. Transfer them carefully to your seed starting mix or directly into the garden. That tiny root tip is fragile. Handle it gently. Seeds that haven't shown a tip yet? Re-dampen the towel and check again in another 12 hours. Some of the harder coated varieties take a full 48 hours. Now let me tell you which seeds respond most dramatically to this, because some of them will genuinely surprise you. Beets and Swiss chard are at the top of my list. These are famously slow and difficult. Most gardeners get maybe 50 to 60% germination even from fresh seed. After a hydrogen peroxide soak, old beet seeds routinely reach 80 to 90% germination. It's one of the most noticeable improvements you'll see. Parsnips and parsley normally take 3 to 4 weeks to germinate in the ground. Sometimes they just never come up at all. After soaking, you can cut that down to 2 to 3 days in the paper towel before transplanting. For anyone who has ever waited on a parsnip row that stayed empty, that alone is worth knowing. Saved bean and pea seeds from last season. The outer coat on these toughens up as they dry out. A 4-hour soak and they come right back. Old pepper seeds. Peppers are notoriously slow starters, even when fresh. A hydrogen peroxide soak can cut germination time nearly in half. Flower seeds, morning glory, nasturtium, sweet peas, all have very hard coats. Some gardeners nick the coat with a nail file to help them along. This does the same thing without any risk of cutting too deep. Now I want to stop here for 1 second, because this is where I've seen people make a mistake. And it's an easy one if nobody tells you. Do not use this method on freshly harvested seeds you've saved within the last 30 to 60 days. When a seed is newly harvested, it goes through a natural dormancy period. It's finishing its development. If you force germination during that window, you can get seedlings that are weak and stunted. Let fresh saved seeds rest in cool, dry storage for at least 6 to 8 weeks first. And do not use pre-treated commercial seeds, the ones coated in that bright pink or blue fungicide coating you sometimes see on corn and bean seeds from certain suppliers. Those coatings can react unpredictably with hydrogen peroxide. Leave those alone. Everything else, you're good to go. Before I show you how to store your seeds so they stay viable for years to come, I want to take 1 second to say thank you for watching this far. It tells me you're serious about your garden and your homestead, and that means a lot. If you're not subscribed to Amish Homestead Roots yet, please do that right now. Just tap the button. We share these kinds of methods every week, real, practical, old-world knowledge that works in the actual garden, not just in a catalogue photo. This community is where it lives. Alright, so now you know how to wake seeds up. Let's talk about how to make sure they stay worth waking up for the next 10 years. Before you go soak your seeds tonight, I want to make sure the seeds you don't plant this season are still going to be worth something next year and the year after. Because here's the thing. Once you start thinking of seeds as something you keep and tend rather than something you replace every spring, the way you store them matters a lot more than it used to. Most people lose germination rates not because the seeds give out naturally, but because of 3 specific storage mistakes. And once you know what they are, you won't make them again. The first enemy is moisture. When moisture gets into a stored seed, it can trigger partial germination. The seed starts the process, can't complete it, and the embryo dies. It also encourages mold. Seeds need to be completely dry going into storage and kept dry the whole time. The second is light. Light degrades the compounds inside the seed over time, the same way sunlight fades fabric or discolors food. Keep your seeds in opaque or dark containers. The third is temperature fluctuation. Constant cycling between warm and cold stresses the seed's cellular structure over time. A consistently cool, stable environment is far better than a spot that swings seasonally. Here's the storage method I use, and it mirrors almost exactly what homesteaders did for generations before there were seed companies to replace what didn't grow. First, dry your seeds completely. If you're saving seeds from your garden, lay them on a paper plate in a single layer and let them air dry at room temperature for 2 full weeks before storing. Not near a heat vent, not in the sun, just in a dry room with good airflow. They should feel completely hard, not flexible at all. Second, use paper envelopes, not plastic bags. Paper breathes slightly, which prevents any residual moisture from getting trapped. Plastic seals moisture in. Write on each envelope the plant name, the variety if you know it, and the year harvested. 2 years from now, when you're reaching into that jar, you'll be very glad you did. Third, put those envelopes inside a sealed glass mason jar with 1 or 2 silica gel packets. The little packets you find in shoe boxes and vitamin bottles. They absorb any ambient moisture inside the jar. You can buy a whole bag of them online for a few dollars, dry them out in a low oven, and reuse them for years. Fourth, store the sealed jar somewhere consistently cool and dark. The back of a pantry shelf works. A root cellar is ideal. Some people keep their seed jars in the back of the refrigerator. That works well as long as the seeds are thoroughly dry before they go in and the lid is tight. With this system, most vegetable seeds will stay viable for 5 to 10 years, some longer. Properly stored tomato and squash seeds can still germinate at solid rates after a decade. And when you're ready to plant them, you know exactly what to do. A small jar, a paper towel, and a brown bottle that costs less than $3. I want to come back to something for a moment because I think it's worth saying plainly. The Amish farmers who worked this land for generations, and the regular farming families who came before the age of garden centers and seed catalogs, they didn't treat seeds as disposable. They weren't buying a new packet every spring and throwing away whatever didn't work. Seeds were precious. They were saved, labeled, tended, and sometimes passed from one generation to the next like something worth passing on. There's a kind of respect in that approach that I think a lot of us feel pulled back toward. The feeling that we should know where our food comes from, that we shouldn't need a catalogue or a corporation to do what our grandparents did with their own hands and a root cellar. The method we've talked about today isn't complicated. It doesn't require anything expensive or hard to find. It just requires knowing about it. That's all it ever was. So here's my challenge to you this week. Don't buy new seeds yet. Before you do anything else, go find the oldest packet in your drawer, the one you've been meaning to throw out. Soak a small handful tonight. Just try it. The worst case is they don't come up and you're exactly where you started. The best case, and I've seen this more times than I can count, is you come back to that paper towel in the morning and there are little white roots pushing out of seeds you had completely written off. And something about that is genuinely exciting, no matter how many times it happens. When you try it, come back here and tell me about it in the comments. Tell me what seeds you soaked, how old they were, and what happened. Those are the comments I look forward to the most because they're real. Your garden, your results, your seeds. If this was useful to you, share it with one gardening friend. Just one. You might save them a whole season of frustration and $20 in seed packets they didn't need to buy. And subscribe to Amish Homestead Roots if you haven't already, because next week we're going into the no-dig lasagna bed method that produces heavily in its very first year, and you are not going to want to miss that one. Thanks for being here. Now go find those seeds.